Grand Rising Beloveds, my name is Sheena with the Way of Namaste. Today I wanted to come on and share a Celtic Cross tarot spread. This week we are currently moving through Gene Key 50. This is the shadow of corruption, the gift of equilibrium, and the city or the divine essence of harmony. So if it feels in alignment, let's begin with an attunement. Closing down our eyes or softening our gaze. And let's go ahead and breathe in through the nose for a count of 4. Holding for 2. And exhaling slowly for 6. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in through the nose for a count of 4. Holding for 2. And exhaling slowly for 6. Breathing in. Holding. And breathing out. Invitation here just to allow the sound of your breath to become like a river that carries you home. With every exhale, I invite you to release any tension that you feel in your shoulders, your jaw, your womb space. And on the inhale, just sensing, perceiving, or imagining this golden light of equilibrium beginning to rise through your spine. I invite you to visualize your feet or your tailbone sending down these deep roots into the dark soil. Imagine as these roots travel past stone and water until they reach the molten heart of our earth. I invite you to feel the warmth of Sophia Gaia beginning to rise back up, steady and unconditional. And here I invite you to feel safety in your body, in the body of the mother. You may even like to say to yourself here, I belong to the balance of life. On this next breath, let's go ahead and bring awareness to any of the places in our body that might feel inflamed or heavy. Recognizing this corruption not as anything wrong with us, but as distortion. I invite you to even begin to see, sense, or imagine these places of distortion in your body like tangled vines of energy. And with each exhale, let's go ahead and imagine this gentle golden light moving through them, untwisting the tangled knots and restoring flow throughout the entire body. Feeling here anything that was once corrupted being now purified by our love. And allowing any imbalances to return to the sacred rhythm of the earth. You may begin to sense, feel, or imagine your body here beginning to soften, as though you are an instrument that's being tuned back into its divine perfection. And here I invite us to begin to rest for a moment in that still point between the inhale and the exhale. And just notice the pulse of your heart as it beats in sync with the rhythms of nature. Feeling here the left and the right hemispheres, the masculine and the feminine, the inhale and the exhale, all becoming equal in measure. And let's allow this neutrality to wash over us, recognizing this is equilibrium. This is the wisdom to hold both the chaos and the calm without resisting. On this next breath, let's go ahead and tune into that emerald ray of our heart chakra and begin to see, imagine, sense, or perceive a sphere of soft, golden, green light here, beginning to expand throughout your entire being. Allow it to extend through your womb, through your chest, through your sacred space of authentic expression, your voice, and through your mind. You may even like to hum, perhaps this gentle invites in this resonance outward to every one of your cells, to every one of your ancestors, and to every part of your being. Let's do that together, deeply inhaling and releasing with an breathing in now. Allow yourself to begin to feel a part of this grand symphony, or even your silence is heard as music. Maybe quietly even saying to yourself, I am in harmony with the whole. My balanced heart nourishes all of life. I choose integrity. I choose peace. I choose harmony and sacred order. If it feels in alignment, you might like to place your palms together over your heart, bowing your head in reverence as you thank your body and all the unseen guardians of balance who walk beside you, walking with you. And when it feels in alignment, adding some gentle movement to your fingers and your toes. And slowly and only when you are ready, beginning to open your eyes and allowing them to land on something real, something living. Might be a plant, might be your pet, might be the sky or a tree. But just allowing your eyes to anchor you back into your now moment. So this week we are dancing with Gene Key 50. This is the shadow of corruption, the gift of equilibrium, and the siddhi or the divine essence of harmony. This shadow of corruption emerges when our inner imbalance seeks power over love. It's not an evil part of us, it's a distortion. It shows us where the laws we live by, both personally and collectively, have drifted away from truth. Corruption is our forgetting that we are all part of one body, one tribe, and one heart. This gift of equilibrium is our art of finding and restoring a dynamic balance. It's not always stillness, but the graceful adjustment of the scales. In this gift, we allow ourselves to see beyond blame, and we purify our inner seeing so that our moral compass can become realigned. When we do this, we allow our nervous system to soften. And through this space, our intuition can speak loudly to us so that our decisions become just and clear, no longer distorted by the program of corruption. In its divine expression, harmony is when equilibrium perfects itself. When every single cell of our being resonates with the same divine tone. What once felt like a cacophony of sound and chaos now becomes our rhythmic symphony. And in this space, there's no laws left. There's only natural order. Harmony becomes our music of unity that arises when love becomes our governing force. So this week we are invited to restore a balance from within us, becoming the living temple through which the cosmos conducts its music. If we have felt this corruption in our operating system, may we see it not as sin, but as data on our computer when we have a corrupted file. Our computer is not running the program successfully, and so we recalibrate. Maybe there is a virus in the software that needs to be removed. Maybe we need to do a hard start and reset, coming into that sacred pause to balance our field. So instead of feeling this corruption as something wrong with us, may we look at it like data. Just acknowledging that the same way that our computer can receive a corrupted file, so can we. We might inherit a fear-based, limiting belief from our ancestors. And once we can be with that and see that it does not feel like truth in our bodies, we can let it go. No longer plagued by the dis-ease, but recalibrated, moving from fear into love. Let's take another deep breath in and out. So we begin this Celtic Cross tarot reading at the heart of the matter, and it's one of my favorite cards, the Strength card. So at the core lies your quiet courage, Strength is the heart's discipline, compassion fused with self-mastery. Within this gene key frequency, this card represents our soul's work of purifying power, so that it's love, not our fear, that leads the way. We are all learning that gentleness is the greatest force of all. In this card, she has her hand in the mouth of the lion, tempering the lion with quiet courage. Our challenge or opportunity this week is the Queen of Swords. This is our invitation to find that truth is our teacher. The Queen of Swords insists on clarity even when she cuts sometimes. She challenges us to stay discerning without becoming bitter and cold. This is the test of equilibrium, is to find emotional neutrality, to wield our wisdom from a place of grace instead of defense. Can we acknowledge that everyone is doing the best that they can with the tools that they have? Sometimes they might disappoint us, but we don't have to take it personally. When we start to live from this perspective that goes beyond good and bad, right and wrong, goodness and evil, some days we'll have a smaller bandwidth. Things will test our patience. And if we haven't nourished our bodies, if we haven't gotten enough rest, some of us can begin to judge others, not showing up in the way that we wish that they would. But our invitation this week is to recognize that we may be in different boats, but we're in the same storm. Everyone going through a challenge that many don't talk about, but maybe is emanating out of them through their fear, through their impatience, through their power. Can we use our gift of spiritual discernment to cut through in order to find what's clear for us? So where we're coming from in the past is the Four of Cups. So apathy may have dulled our senses. Disillusion may have caught us, and we might feel disconnected from our purpose, or even unimpressed by what life has been offering us. But this pause is a sacred pause. If we empty our cup, we can allow higher truth to pour in. This shadow of corruption begins in a lot of us as boredom. And it's our soul's call to wake up, to reawaken our devotion and our connection with all things sacred. It's amazing what life will reveal to us through our boredom when we're mindlessly scrolling, when we're distracted and binge watching, when we're stuffing our face with foods that aren't nourishing and sustainable for us. This dis-ease we can feel can be this shadow of corruption, just inviting us to start caring about how we fuel ourselves, not just with our food, but through our environment. So what we're conscious of this week is the Seven of Wands. We're all fully aware that we must stand our ground, and this card is our active alignment with our heart's integrity. You're defending your frequency of truth amidst external pressures. Harmony isn't passivity, it's the courage to stay balanced while others sway. Some of us are saying no more to some of the programming that we may be receiving or picking up in the ethers. I know I released one of my social media platforms this week because I didn't like what I was seeing on the platform. The data harvesting, the psychological manipulation, the social experiment of division and separation rather than transparency and unity. So I said no more. I will not engage because I recognize the harm and being part of an algorithm that creates more division than unity. So what's coming up for us in the future is the Page of Swords. Here, curiosity becomes our compass. This Page of Swords brings mental renewal, new conversations, and a willingness to learn again. As equilibrium stabilizes, this fresh perspective emerges. This is one rooted in honesty and the willingness to listen deeply before reacting. For me, this is the recognition that truth is not universal. What may have felt icky and sticky and crunchy for me may not be felt by others in that way. And that's okay. I can accept their truth without becoming it and making it my own. So, what comes up for us in the unconscious this week is the Ten of Pentacles. At the root of our being lies our desire for lasting legacy, building something of integrity that endures. This Ten of Pentacles is anchoring this city of harmony, the recognition that true wealth is communal well-being. Your soul remembers how to sustain prosperity through right relationship. How many of us remember a time when we lived in accordance with the cycles of the moon and the rhythms of nature? We lived in communities of shared responsibilities centered around our children and the earth. I still recall these memories so vividly in my desire to bring them back, because I remember the beauty of interdependency, recognizing that we are stronger together. We don't have to do it all, and we certainly don't have to do it all by ourselves. And when we live communally, we share the responsibility. Last week I got to participate in a Diwali event where we honored Lakshmi. And it was such a divine collaboration. One person bringing the cacao, one person purifying the space, one person building the altar, one person offering the prayer, one person offering the alignment and the attunement, one person offering gifts, all of us bringing roses, sharing in the responsibility, the potluck, everyone bringing a dish. So this way it didn't all have to fall on one person. And in this co-creation, we all got to feel a part of the experience. Instead of all the responsibility falling on one person, it got to be a shared victory where we all left feeling part of something bigger than us because we had an active role in making that happen. So how we think about all this, our querent is the sun. You are radiance embodied, and the sun dissolves all residue of corruption through transparency and joy. When you choose light as your operating system, you align with the highest moral law. This card proclaims that when your heart shines, you restore order simply by being. It's no longer the doing, but the emanation of your being through your light, choosing harmony. Like it's the sacred revolution that we are here for at this time. When there is so much out there that wants us to choose fear, to choose corruption and separation, to choose to blame people in power and authority, instead of taking sacred responsibility and being our own inner authority, the author of our experience. Our environment this week is the Hermit. So, some of us are feeling this call for introspection that the outer world is asking. In the Northern Hemisphere, we are coming into the dark period of the year. Here, solitude becomes our sanctuary. It's not exile. Sometimes self-care is in the retreating. The hermit walks with its little lantern, this inner law guiding each step. And around you, quieter rhythms are inviting deeper reflection. Harmony first hums in our stillness before it can sing out into the world. These leaves that fall from the trees nourish the soil. And from that nourishment, the ground cover creates a sanctuary for the seeds to begin growing from beneath. And it takes the time, the rest of the season before it starts sprouting in the spring. Before we can smell the sweet fragrance of the flower, we must give it time to grow, to water it, to be with it. Our hopes and fears is the Eight of Pentacles. So all of us have a hope that what we're doing matters. The way that we show up, that we work, that we serve. We want it to matter without fearing that we endlessly have to strive for it. This Eight of Pentacles counsels our steady craftsmanship. It's not about overdoing it, pushing yourself to extreme. It's about finding the balance with effort and with rest. Choosing quality over perfection. Recognizing that each small act of devotion refines our inner architecture of order and structure. So do you give yourself the same amount of rest as you give to your work? And what would it be like to honor the darkness the way that our society honors the light? To recognize the gift in being versus doing. Our outcome this week comes through the Nine of Wands, resilience crowned by wisdom. The Nine of Wands assures you that though weary, you are nearly through the trial. Integrity has fortified your boundaries. Harmony, hard won, becomes embodied strength. The warrior rests. Doesn't rest because it's defeated, but because it's in guardianship of what is pure. If we want a legacy that lasts. And we must learn to choose rest, to choose the quiet solitude that the hermit offers us. We don't always have to be outward facing, external, processing, but we need the place of digesting, resting, and integrating. So this week I invite you, through courage and clarity, to restore your own balance from within you. Once you find that space of equilibrium within you, you can become the harmony that you may have been seeking in the world. It's not something outside of you, it's something that you create, and it begins with your breath. So let's go ahead and close with 3 deep breaths together. Inhaling deeply through the nose and exhaling softly, finding this rhythm with equal inhales as the exhales, breathing in and breathing out. And this last breath, inviting in harmony and releasing corruption. Sending you so much love, so much light, and so much peace this